And we're back. That's right. We're back and we are talking about Starfleet Academy. We are Treknopod. I'm Captain Shoff. With me every week is my favorite people to talk about Trek with, Captain Lindapaiges. How are you?
So good. Well, I'm mostly good. I have a quantum exam in 3 days. Other than that,
Quantum exams are harder than photon exams, from what I hear.
yeah, the our like optics. Wow, sorry. Our optics and photonics exams weren't that bad. That's just like wavelength stuff. That's actually pretty cool. But quantum is.
I was just making a joke about torpedoes, but that works.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I didn't
photonics
realize
actually
I
is
was
really
like
cool.
actually doing.
Shoff,
And
you
we
said
also have
optics is
photonic.
cool.
We also have Captain Vactor. How are you, sir?
Eat glass, Shoff. I'm doing well.
For the Sisko.
So that was Emma's favorite thing, and I did not include this in my weekly "Here's what my roommate said while watching Starfleet Academy" video on TikTok. But she did say at the end, she literally paused it and she goes, "She went from calling him the Cisco to calling him Benjamin." How did we get here?
On a first name
was it
basis, yeah. From here on out, spoilers. Our little red alert, just warning you
red
about
alert, red
us talking
alert,
about this
red
episode.
alert?
Red alert,
Like the one in
red
the beginning,
alert, red
the first
alert,
episode. What's up with that
red.
girl? I hope she's okay. We haven't seen her.
I hope. Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while. I
Red
hope she's
alert,
okay.
red. I did say I felt a lot like that girl today. The fire alarm went off. And I was
Maybe
like,
she never got the
alarm,
comm badge
fire
out.
alarm.
Maybe she's still sitting on the pot waiting for that comm badge to come out.
That's just not a visual that I was really excited to have in my head.
We are at the halfway point of season 1 of Starfleet Academy, which is crazy that we're already on episode 5. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
This season is going by so fast. The episode was called Series Acclimation Mil, appropriately titled because it was from the point of view, perspective, and experience of Series Acclimation Mil, aka Sam, our favorite photonic being. Now, before we get into the icebreaker, I just wanted to ask you folks, like, she's called Sam, and that's cute, but we know that it stands for Series Acclimation Mil. Do we have any like insight as to what that means?
I was thinking about that. I guess like they picked the name Sam first, and then like
That's what I think too.
and then just because like the series kind of makes sense. I
And
don't really
acclimation,
know.
like
Acclimation
acclimatizing
makes
yourself
sense.
to like
Yeah.
a new environment, that makes sense. Not just a new environment of like an academy, like a college setting, but being amongst
Well, I
organics
guess.
when you are a
Yeah.
photonic being.
Because that was her
But
whole
like the
purpose. So I
mill
guess it kind of
part,
does make sense.
does that mean like she's the millionth like iteration of it or something?
No, I think I'm not an English major, so it's it's slang for million. Measurement, imperial, an angle of a unit of angular measurement. Mother-in-law, millimeter per mil is per thousand, or a currency, a former unit of currency in Cyprus.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll reveal that in a future episode.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it just means something else that they haven't divulged yet. Like maybe it means something to like the photonics that she lives with, or didn't really live with for that long. Because
no, yeah. And for the amount of questions that the makers have about organics, they seem to have kind of nailed what a teenage organic person might act like, you know?
yeah,
Like they're asking a lot of, dare I say, dumb questions about organics, like what is food and, you know, like basic stuff. But they made her.
So I wonder if maybe they made her based off of the information they had, because they were created by organics at
That's
some
true.
point in time. So they presumably had some kind of database of knowledge about them since they were created by them, but it's just not up to date. So there's some things that slip through the cracks they might not know, because like they don't need to eat food, so how would they know that? But there's presumably some knowledge that they still have of them that like maybe like personality wise, or like that awkwardness or whatever, like could be like they kind of adapted that from. I don't know if they've specified if it was humans or not that created that.
Yeah, they just so far they've just said organics.
I'm assuming it was. I don't know why I assumed it was. I've just been working with that assumption, but that would be my.
Yeah, I mean, safe to say humanoid, because Star Trek is almost
well, because she's also human, right? And she's also looks
Yeah.
human. So like she doesn't have any like, you know, random pointy ear or like forehead ridge or like scales or spots or, you know, one prosthetic on her nose or anything.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. So for the icebreaker, we found out in this episode that Sam has been basically tasked by her makers to enroll in this course called Confronting the Unexplainable. And she's doing so because the ultimate goal is to figure out, can we trust the organics? That right now the organics kind of do some unexplainable things, and she feels like, or the makers feel like, this course is going to be what will help her determine what we need to learn about organics as to whether or not they can be trusted. She picks this course, and of course it's about the disappearance of Benjamin Sisko. That's the project she decides to go with, which is kind of a crazy thing, and certainly unexplainable even this many years later, 800 plus years later. And it got me thinking, are there any other unexplained phenomena or like events that have taken place in Star Trek any point in time that you folks would pick for a project if you were in Sam's shoes and you could confront the unexplainable? And I wondered if you had any ideas. Now, I'm putting you on the spot, so maybe you don't have an answer. That's okay. We can always come back to it. But I just wanted to see, like, we'll start with Captain Linda, since she's smiling and giggling. She may already have an answer figured out.
I want to know what happened to the lizard babies. Like, did they start a colony? Did they ever achieve warp? Were they ever a warp capable species? Like, if this was the evolved version of humans, presumably they were intelligent enough to create a warp drive. Do they eventually at some point find Starfleet? Have they now evolved so much that like people, like, no one knows, and they're just like from this planet in Delta Quadrant, no one's like aware of their history, and so like no one ever puts together the fact that they started with these two Starfleet officers who conceived them as lizards, salamanders. Every time I say the lizard baby, someone corrects me and is in my comments like, they're salamanders. And I'm like, okay. Also, as a side note, will I ever encounter the salamander stuffed animal that I found at Florida SuperCon again? Because it's a thing I need to purchase that I didn't there, and I regret it. So
it'll probably be in Vegas. I have a good feeling about it.
It wasn't officially Star Trek licensed merch. I wonder if it will be at MegaCon.
Do you think there's only going to be officially Star Trek licensed stuff at STLV?
I don't know, but I have heard that people have a difficult time selling not officially licensed Star Trek merch there, which is strange to me. I'm not saying that, like, obviously, but it is because like Creation Entertainment did Star Trek Orlando, and there was most definitely like fan merch being sold there. I don't know if it's because it's a bigger convention or whatever, but my point being, like, it wasn't like Star Trek fan merch either. It was just like a salamander stuffed animal. I just thought it looked like the one from Star Trek. Like, it had nothing to do with Star Trek at all. So
okay.
But anyways, I want to know what happened to the salamander babies. What about you?
Okay, I like that. That's good. Captain Vactor, what about you? You got anything?
The Qs. Anything with the Qs. I want to know more, Shoff. More. I love the Qs.
I love the Qs too. Would you like a Q series? Would be kind of wild, just like in the continuum.
Yeah,
because you could do anything. Like, it could be any format, because it kind of defies description or explanation. I don't know. It'd be interesting. And any chance to get John Delancey back, I'd be okay with.
I was going to say, I'm going through a show with my son called Justice League Action, which was a DC animated show that was out a couple years ago. And John Delancey's voice came up as Brainiac. I was like, wait a minute, that's cute. It was fun.
He's definitely a voice actor you could recognize in anything. He's a lot like Kate Mulgrew, like you know. Yep. When we met him at SuperCon, actually the first convention I ever attended in my life when I was 12, when the unfortunate LeVar Burton experience occurred. He was the other Trek actor that was there, and he seemed very like he was bombarded with My Little Pony. Everyone was asking him about it, and I remember one point during his panel, he was like, I really hate to disappoint you, but I go in and I read the script and I leave, and I don't know who else is in it or what the characters' names are, or even like really who I'm playing. He's like, I just read and I get my check and I leave. And I remember seeing a bunch of crushed faces in the audience of these people who were like cosplaying My Little Pony and like wanted to know like what he thought about it. And he was like, I honest to God just do not know. This is not my...
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I remember being like, oh my God, he's in My Little Pony. Yeah.
No, I love that. That's great. If I had to pick one just off the top of my head, this is not necessarily like an unexplained phenomena, but after my rewatch of Voyager, which I've kind of put on pause while we've been watching Enterprise and Starfleet Academy, but after watching Living Witness,
yeah,
one of my unexplained events, or I guess characters in that respect, is the Doctor. So a backup copy of the Doctor appeared in this episode, and by the end of it, he sets off on his own mission to basically head back to Earth and follow sort of Voyager's tracks. But he's super far in the future, right? Like, because Living Witness takes place 700 years, I think.
Yeah.
After Voyager's
He's
sort of time
only
frame.
100 years pre Starfleet Academy then right now.
Yeah, that's true. So, and a lot of people were wondering if the Doctor that was going to be in Starfleet Academy was going to be potentially this version, the backup copy. And so we don't know what happened to the backup copy of the Doctor and if he ever made it back to Earth and what that was like. And based on the time frame of this episode of this series, Starfleet Academy, I really hope the Doctor maybe references the fact that he like finally met himself again, or like if the Doctor's copy ever made it back to Earth. Like we need to know. We need to know. So
I think it'd be really interesting. This is definitely a character that for me kind of like haunts the narrative a lot, especially in Starfleet Academy, because we have the Doctor who is clearly, as we'll get into, struggling with loss as much as he tells Sam, like, you just get over it. Like, it clearly bothers him. He clearly struggles with it, but he hasn't really let himself struggle with it because he knows it's going to be for the rest of his existence. He's going to continue to lose people and lose people and lose people. And so this is kind of interesting to think about. While this version of the Doctor has experienced so much loss, but the trade-off for that is that he's made so many connections and so many friends, and he's gotten to know so many people. And meanwhile, this other version of the Doctor, first of all, lost out on all of that time, lost out on 6 centuries or 7, 6, not to say 6 or 7, but 6 or 7 centuries of no more. no, not doing that.
Vactor and I, we didn't miss a beat.
Somewhere between 5 and 8 centuries.
Yay!
Of time to make those connections just gone. Like, he literally just woke up one day and he had lost that centuries of time. And in addition to that, the time that he is alive or like aware of his existence now, he's going to spend most of it alone unless he chooses to settle down in the Delta Quadrant somewhere. So I think that this is a very interesting. One of the things I did consider, and I do often wonder about this, is there was that this Living Witness is in season 6.
No. 5 or 6.
5. Yeah. Virtuoso is an episode in 6 or last 2 seasons of Voyager. I think Virtuoso happens after Living Witness.
You're right.
I do wonder, since Virtuoso he like almost stayed there and like really did almost stay. I do wonder if this version of the Doctor ever encountered this alien species from Virtuoso, if he settled down there, if he maybe ended up, I know they made like kind of the new and improved version, but maybe if he ended up there and like kind of joined that, I wonder.
I do hope we get more from the Doctor this season. Yeah. I thought it was also appropriate. So there's just kind of like a throwaway bit of dialogue in the beginning of this episode of Starfleet Academy, but we established that it's almost the end of the semester, which is kind of wild because the show just started, right? And like, we haven't really seen too much of their time in the classrooms to say that they're already at the end of the semester. But if you're looking at it from the standpoint of what a year in Starfleet Academy would look like, then the halfway point of the season being episode 5 would make sense to be the end of the semester.
Yeah, I was wondering at first if they said that, because I watched another show called The Sex Lives of College Girls, and they did a season per semester, which gave them a lot more time to kind of explore everything. So I kind of just assumed that's what they were going to do here, which I guess, like, because it was coming out over the course of one semester, like, or half a semester from January March. So when she said that, I kind of assumed she just meant like the semester's almost over in the sense of like, it's way too late to start a class. Like, we only have 6 weeks left or whatever, where it's like the semester's not really like, we're like halfway through, but it's not like it's too late for me to join. So I didn't take it too literally when she said that. But now that you're saying that, I guess that would make sense, since this would be the halfway point of the year. Yeah.
Vactor, you had some thoughts about, having this show, but maybe not having some extra bonus features that we're used to having when watching Trek.
Yeah, after dang, what was it? Will Wheaton did a show on YouTube called The Ready Room, and it was after every episode of Strange New Worlds episode
Picard,
or season 1,
yeah.
Picard, Lower Decks, and they would have interviews. They would have cast members come on and show behind the scenes stuff. Man, I used to love that show. Bring
Agreed.
it back.
So
It was
good.
so good. And now not having that, it just feels a little empty. When I'm done with the episode, I'm like, oh man, I want to watch something else, but there's nothing else until next week. So I wish they would bring back the Ready Room. And I didn't have that thought until I was watching this episode. I was like, wait a minute. There's a void that I wanted to fill, but it was the Ready Room. That's what it was.
That
That's a
was
mystery.
really good. And Will
We need to
Wheaton was such
confront
a
the
perfect
unexplainable.
Yes.
Where is
100%.
the Ready Room with Will Wheaton?
Guy,
So fun fact, when I interviewed him my junior year of high school, my Gold Award, I interviewed him for my Girl Scout Gold Award. And when you do your Girl Scout Gold Award, you get an advisor. Mine happens to be like literally like my older sister. She literally every time we talked about him or like the interview, she'd go, Will Wheaton? I could be like, oh yeah, I scheduled my Will Wheaton. Oh yeah, like I finished like the files, like submit my Gold Award, and I had to include the Will Wheaton. So shout out to Lammy for changing the way I say Will Wheaton forever and ever. Will Wheaton.
I love it. I love it. We get some interactions between Sam and her makers. The makers are voiced by a famous actor, actually, a famous Hollywood actor named, and I'm going to butcher this. So Vactor or Linda, please correct me. Chiwetel Ejiofor. No,
Chiwetel Ejiofor is how you pronounce it.
Perfect. I knew that Vactor would be there to save me from that. But yeah,
yes.
I thought that was kind of wild. Pretty cool. She's typing away.
She needs to Google.
Oh, you weren't sure who that was. Okay, yeah.
I think
I was
100%.
like, that sounds familiar. The Martian. That's
yeah. That was
he was in that.
One of the things he was in.
I was
like
in
Doctor Strange. Yeah, he's been
he
in
was
a ton
in
of stuff.
Serenity.
Yes, I was gonna say Firefly, but yeah, it was Serenity. Yes, I think you don't cast someone like that unless he's either gonna have a bigger role or maybe we're gonna see him in the form of an on-screen appearance. I think we need to see him because he's a great actor.
Kinky Boots. Sorry, I'm scrolling with IMDb. Or he could just be a really big Star Trek fan.
Could be.
That's true.
Sometimes they do that.
He's in one of my favorite Christmas movies, Love Actually.
I've never seen that.
I almost choked.
I'm sorry for personally offending you.
No, well, we're just gonna fix that this year. 2026 is the year that you watch it.
Are we having a Love Actually watch party? Okay. We'll put it on.
Actually
like,
will.
Zoom
Yeah.
Okay.
We get to meet a new character played by Tawny Newsome, Professor Ela, and honestly, it took me 30 minutes of this episode before I even realized that she was being played by Tawny Newsome. Yep,
Which
there she is.
I don't know how, Shoff, you didn't pick out her voice.
There was just, you know what? I blame it on the gummies. It was the gummies' fault.
I will say, I got her voice. I only knew this was her because I knew that it was her going in. It was very clear to me that she was not a fan of acting in prosthetics. And I know she said that on Instagram, but like you could see like she was having a hard time with her facial expressions because of it. And that is not something I blame her for at all, because when I went back and looked, like this is my second time watching the episode, because after she'd posted about the prosthetics, I like paid really close attention to it watching it. And like it was literally her entire face, like not just like a ridge or like a whatever, but it was like very heavy makeup, and you can't tell because it's so smooth, like that it's like that wasn't obvious to me the first time watching. I mean, obviously she was wearing prosthetics, but like I didn't realize, like I wasn't paying close attention to how much she was wearing. And so yeah, I probably would have taken me a lot longer had I not like known going in that was who that was. But definitely the voice was a giveaway. I just was hearing Mariner and I was like, well, Mariner's so grown up and mature now.
Yeah, and she co-wrote the episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She
doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm sure she had a huge hand in this episode, because I also heard that some of the people that we see later on she is friends with and brought into the episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yes. Very exciting. Part of Sam's... Wait, go ahead.
No, I screamed when I saw... Well, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it now. We don't talk in order. It's fine.
When Sirach came on screen, I actually like legitimately almost screamed and to not because when he was at Star Trek Orlando, from Transporter Room knows him. So we were standing outside talking to him for like 30 minutes. He literally, I said to him, I'm so excited for Starfleet Academy. I can't wait. I'm like counting down days to the announcement. And he's like, yeah, I've heard it's going to be really good. And like, blah, 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 blah. Like, we had this like whole conversation about it and he didn't give it away once, like not a facial expression, not any, like nothing. And I'm pretty good about picking up on stuff like that. Like it didn't even occur to me that like he could be in it, but like we stood there and had a lengthy conversation about Starfleet Academy and about how excited I was for it. And I was like, I'm looking forward to it so much, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, no, I heard it's going to be great.
That's awesome.
So I'm very disappointed myself for not picking up on the fact that he was going to be in it. But I was very excited, and I immediately texted Chris and I was like, oh my God, he didn't tell us. He didn't tell us. He kept it secret.
Yes.
Chris seems to like be so connected, knows like so many people in the Trek universe. Yeah. It's amazing.
It is.
A lot of connections. That's fantastic.
So that is who I was referring to. That is who Tawny Newsome knew and brought in.
Yes.
Who also,
Crazy.
he had a connection to Avery Brooks.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love that whenever you'll like in any of the interviews that Tawny has done about this episode, she always refers to Avery Brooks as Mr. Brooks. She's like so respectful about it. And, you know, just, this is kind of unrelated, but it's related to the fact that she's been interviewed. She spent a little bit of time in one of the interviews that I watched recently of her, where she was talking about the toxicity of some of the fandom right now and what we're experiencing. You know, Linda experiences it on her channel. I experience it on my TikTok account like crazy, is just people flooding the comments with these like really negative, and honestly, not just comments that are, I don't like this show, but it's comments that are very targeted assaults on somebody's body or their looks or the color of their skin or whether or not they're cis, hetero, blah, 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 you know, like all as if any of that stuff matters. And she was like, she spent a moment during the interview and she was like, that is going to come up with any fandom. But if you are doing that with this show, you need to remember that these are young actors. And what does that like, essentially, like, what does that say about you? How would you feel to like in a vulnerable state as a young actor where maybe you don't have the thick skin as an adult actor who has, you know, been through it and is prepared for some of these people? Maybe it's one of that's their breakout role, right? And like to be reduced to, oh yeah,
that's so cute.
I love that. It's just fantastic. But to be like reduced to what size you are or something is just so inappropriate, and it says so much about you as a person that you would do that and say these things about people who are effectively teenagers or in their, you know, early 20s or something. It's so bad. And I'm glad that Tawny spoke up about it because it's been awful. It's been absolutely disgusting. Every chance I get to delete comments that I see come through, I've been doing that. I've been either turning the comments off or I've been really trying to be vigilant about, you know, curating the content and making sure it's appropriate and not disparaging in any way. It's just drives me nuts. It makes me so mad that people are so nasty. Yeah. Like, to go on a tangent here, this episode features Jaden flirting a bunch with Kyle from the War College. And we also
Team
see
Darum. Sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Him and Kyle are cute. But Darum was so... we have to talk about the way Darum said Jaden's name in the beginning. He goes, Jaden! It was awesome. I thought I could repeat. It was so good.
Yeah, he was so
like,
jealous. Super
clearly,
jealous.
You're slumming it. Too drunk to be here. You're slumming it. Like, he was jealous.
But like, there was a moment. This episode featured Jaden wearing a skirt, and of course, the comments.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna chime in right here. Not new to Star Trek.
Yeah.
And also not new to Klingons. None of this is new.
Right.
So this all confuses me so much when people are like, but he's in a skirt. Yeah, they were in the skirts.
Have you seen the first 2 seasons of TNG? They were in skirts a lot of times.
Dresses.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? What is this new? It's amazing to me. It really is. And it's just, and I really do. And I go back and I rewatch it trying to think, because people are like, oh, well, they're pushing it in our faces and blah, blah, blah. And there's just being woke and like shoving a message down your throat. And I'm like, okay, let me go. I thought to myself, like, okay, let me go back and watch this with that in mind. Because even if I disagree with what you're saying, let me try to see this from your perspective. But I can't, because I go back and watch it and they're not constantly like, well, Jaden's gay, so we have to find him a man because he's gay. He's gay. He's gay. Like, he's gay. Like, it's just there. It's exactly what they're arguing. They're saying, oh, well, it wouldn't be a big deal in the 21st and not 21st and that point in the future. And it's not. Like, 2 of their professors are dating.
Right.
They never once are like, and they're lesbians, or like have an episode about how hard it is to be a lesbian or anything. Like, they're just dating. This is a normal thing. 2 of my professors are married. Like, I fear this is just a normal thing that happens at colleges, at universities. Like, that's a pretty common occurrence so this whole thing of like, well, they're shoving it down your throat, and it's just like they were just having a conversation about, like, ask yourself the question, would it still bother you if it was a straight couple? And then if the answer is no.
Right. Yeah. No.
If the answer is yes, because that's the thing. If you're like, I just don't like romance in my Star Trek, and I just feel like there's too much of it now, it's like, okay, I mean, there's always been romance in Star Trek, but there are definitely more like couples and maybe more emphasis on like kind of the romantic plots than there have been other Star Trek. So that's like, okay, like that, it's not your thing. You know, like, it's okay to have an opinion and be like, this isn't like, you know, I just prefer when it's kind of like maybe like 1 or 2 couples, but maybe not like everyone has a love interest, or like I get it. I mean, it is a college show, so everyone's kind of going to be all over each other because that's college. But I would understand that argument of like, it's like, or not argument, but just opinion, but to say it's too woke or it's too gay. And it's like, welcome to Star Trek, friend.
Yeah. I think,
let me introduce you. Some
of the decisions I do question sometimes if it's done to shake the tree a little bit, only because, like, for instance, I personally have no issue with Jaden wearing a skirt. I think it's totally fine. And yes, TNG has already done it. It's not a big deal. But I also think that in this episode, you should have seen at least one other person, maybe even like a named character that we've seen before, that we have established as like a straight, interested in women person, wear a skirt. Like, if Caleb also was wearing a skirt in this episode, you know, like, and showcasing that, I think like that to me would have then sold it as it's just a piece of fabric that it's like, this is a possible way to wear your uniform that is acceptable within Starfleet Academy. But to only have Jaden show up in it, or at least that's all I saw, to me, like, that's why I think it stands out and people get butthurt about it. But the butthurt part of it comes because they're bigots and, you know, and homophobic and everything else. I just think, like, if you're going to present that, you should also showcase that it really isn't a thing, and that it's not a thing, and then have your other characters do it too at some point. So maybe in the next episode, have Caleb wear the skirt, and then you're golden, you know, like, that's my only thing. It's like, just have it be an equal representation that way, so that it really does seem like you're not trying to like poke the bear a little bit.
Right. I mean, that would still get people upset.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
No matter what.
But like,
but I do hear what you're saying. Yes.
If somebody like, you know, ripped and is interested in like the hot, you know,
the Betazoid girl.
Hot. Yeah. Who's super attractive.
She is hot.
And,
I'll say it. She's hot.
But like, yeah, if
and have you seen her in real life? So hit me up.
All right, she said it, then I can just, we're very pro Zoe over here. Anyways, off my soapbox about that. We get to see the Sisko Museum during this episode, which was pretty awesome because
there's uniform. Do we know if that was his actual DS9 uniform? Has that been confirmed?
That's a good question. I don't know. But we get to see some cool stuff, like the just various memorabilia from Deep Space Nine. And I was wondering as I was watching, Linda, I'm not sure, have you seen all of Deep Space Nine?
No. Okay. So I did have to do a little bit of Googling. Like, this started and they were like, and Sisko became a god, and I was like, I didn't have to Google for a second. I was like, what's happening? I will say I think they did a very good job of explaining what you needed to, like, I did not have a ton of extra questions about it, like, when I watched this. So I think they did a pretty good job of explaining it. I really did not Google that much beforehand.
Yeah.
And even Emma, who hasn't seen any Deep Space Nine, when I watched it with her, her knowledge of Deep Space Nine is she got me a Jadzia Dax like doll, like Barbie. So that's her knowledge of Deep Space Nine. And even she, like, I felt like she had like a couple of questions, but it was more about like just like, what is a Dax? What is that? Yeah. So and as opposed to Sisko disappearance, because I think they did a pretty good job explaining that. Like I gave her a brief rundown when we were picking up our Uber Eats before we started watching about like the Cardassians versus the Bajorans and like kind of Deep Space Nine's role and like kind of overall plot of that. And then I think she was so I think they did a really good job of explaining, because it did take me off guard for the first few minutes. I was like, the what of who?
And Vactor, what's your experience with Deep Space Nine? Like, have you seen any of the episodes? Where are you at?
Deep Space Nine was similar to Voyager for me, where I watched them in syndication and reruns out of order. I have not watched the entire thing. I just got bits and pieces, enough to fall in love with the show. But I would say I've probably seen 25% total of Deep Space Nine.
Okay. I have seen 100%. Yeah. I'm not like bragging or anything, but it was a show that when TNG was on and like Voyager was on and all that stuff, I kept my distance from Deep Space Nine while it was on the air. I thought to myself, how boring. I was like, a show about a space station that doesn't go anywhere? That sounds so stupid and so boring. I was like, I don't want to watch that.
You were a Trek bro. No.
At that time, yeah, I was a Trek bro. And let me tell you,
not a Trek bro.
After it had gone off the air and it was in syndication, that was when I started to watch it from start to finish. And I remember renting like the DVDs from Blockbuster or whatever. That's dating myself. But yeah, I watched it that way, and I realized how dumb I was, because the show is amazing, and the show
is a reformed Trek bro.
Yeah, totally. Thankfully, I've learned the error of my ways. I am a teachable person. I do learn. That's the Deep Space Nine was incredible. It was very political. Even though it was grounded to a space station, it wasn't limited in that way. It told even better stories. Character development was at the forefront of everything. And I think like that show really sets the standard of character development more than any other Star Trek ever has, or ever has since that point. And even when they added the Defiant as a ship that would sort of give them the mobility to go elsewhere, that even improved it too. But like featuring an entire war within a show and spanning it over a season, like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I cannot recommend it enough. I was talking with Vactor the other day, and I think after we finish our Enterprise rewatch, one thing we would like to do is make Deep Space Nine the next one that we tackle. So if Linda, if you're on board for something like that, we'll make it happen.
It's hard for me to commit that far in advance, but the plan is yes. I don't want to like, but
it'll take us a while to finish Enterprise, but
that's why I'm like, I don't know. But yes, I mean, yes, obviously, like I'm not planning on
figure out a way to increase the amount of things that we watch or review and to get things done faster. But yeah, so we had the Sisko Museum, which was fantastic. We also had this amazing club scene that took place in this episode, and that was a lot of fun.
I was happy. This is college student representation in media. It is. I was very excited. This was great. Sam being absolutely trashed. Genesis like kind of taking care of her and being like, "You good? Did you just call me Genesis?"
Genesis.
This was very as someone who had gone out the weekend before this episode came out. I went out right after a breakup, so I was definitely getting trashed. This was a very accurate representation of of Emma and I that night. So I was very excited. I was like texting her, and I was like, I know it because we watched Starfleet Academy on Monday night, so it comes out Thursday. We watched the episode the following Monday, and she and I was texting her, and I was like, I know you don't want spoilers, but they go to a bar. This is so us. Like, there's a bar fight. I know you know what's worse, so I was just very excited. This was very accurate.
This episode for In the Bar featured Jackie Cox as the bartender. So we got and this she's no stranger to Star Trek. She's previously done some like moderator type stuff for Star Trek Day. I remember her doing that when she was on RuPaul's Drag Race. Whoopi Goldberg happened to be a guest on like an episode, and she was losing her mind over seeing Guinan in the flesh and got a hug from Guinan. So it was really cool to see Jackie Cox now immortalized in Star Trek as a character. So that's pretty awesome. And I'm sure we'll see. I feel like this is going to become kind of like the Max was to Saved by the Bell. Does that, okay, did you ever watch
For Linda's Time?
Yeah, it is very much before Linda's time. The Max was go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say on Saved by the Bell, which was obviously a high school show, but after school they would always meet up at this like diner that was kind of like a 50s style diner. Yeah, called the Max. There we go. And a lot of their scenes would take place there. And so I was thinking to myself, this might end up being kind of like the Max for Star Trek. Starfleet Academy.
I hope so. I want more. My only complaint about it is I don't like how the bar is called the Academy, because it makes it very confusing when they're like, I fear they're setting themselves up for not for failure, but just for like some confusing dialogue there, because they're just gonna end up calling it the bar. Because there's a couple of local bars here that do drag nights, like drag bingo or whatever. And the first thing that Emma said, we were eating, she says something, she goes, "They have drag nights in Star Trek too." She was very excited. So they have drag queen nights in Star Trek too. I was like, apparently.
I guess so. Vactor, what did you think of the club scene? What were your favorite moments?
I like a lot of the atmosphere and, like Linda said, showing the representation. I thought it was odd that there was no punishment afterwards for getting into a little bit of trouble. I thought we were going to get to see something at the academy. Like, all right, here's them cleaning toilets or whatever, something in a military-esque thing. But yeah, that I did enjoy more than what was going on in the B plot of this episode, Shoff. I did not enjoy.
I will say,
space blobfish, that was awesome. That was so good. I did have a question. Was the entire like ritual fake, or was it just like the end when they were making fun of it? The whole thing was fake? I couldn't figure out if it was like...
I think it was legit.
I thought it was fake. That was my takeaway from it.
Obviously, at least part of it was, because he got like really upset at the end and they were laughing. So clearly, like, at least part of it was, but I couldn't tell if it was just the flute playing or if it was the whole thing.
Well, I also feel like this B plot that we were seeing with Kelrick and Ake, Reno, and the Doctor, I feel like there's more there than meets the eye. Like this whole Alpharat visit that they were planning for. Now, granted, I haven't seen the previews for this week's episode. That's going to come drop technically tomorrow night, but it kind of felt like we were leading into something, like that they were hinting that there's something fishy about what was going on there. Now, Linda seems to know more, so maybe I'm onto something here. I don't know.
It wasn't in the preview. The preview was just, I can't even watch till after my quantum exam on Friday. Like, I would normally watch it, like, either stay up on Wednesday or watch it Thursday morning before, but I can't. Like, I won't be in a good emotional state to take an exam if I watch this before, so.
Okay.
Like, I'm already, I can't. But anyway, I think that the relationship between Reno and the Doctor is one of my favorites in the show so far. It's awesome to see two legacy characters like that interact, and it's just like, it's just so good. Like, it's their relationship is just so good. And I said that to Emma, and her immediate response was, "Yeah, it's a lesbian interacting with a man." I was like, okay, all right, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the B plot served a nice purpose of giving Kelrick and Ake also the chance to reconcile, because clearly Kelrick has been harboring some resentment that he needed to work through, and sort of, I guess, get a new perspective, get some context added onto his judgment of Ake without really understanding why she would, abandon Starfleet and things like that. But
without asking her, I thought that whole thing was very interesting and very
yeah. Well, clearly Kelrick doesn't seem to be a father, and I think like that in itself, like how can you understand someone's decisions when you're not a parent yourself? Like if it involves a child, and that it had a lot to do with it. It wasn't just what went down with Caleb, but also her losing her son in the burn too. Like there was a lot there. So I think that was definitely an important thing for them to have happen so they could get past it and work together, which I'm sure the War College and the Academy will probably have to work together in the
You
near
haven't
future.
seen the trailer, have you?
No, I haven't. Okay, I guess I'm really good at predicting things. I'm just going to say that. So
I saw it, like I was waiting for my professor to come to office hours, and I was like sitting outside of her office, and it came up, so I didn't even watch it with volume, and I immediately commented, I was like, oh my god.
Let's see. Other notes I have.
I was going to say Tawny Newsom's character.
Yeah. So she's not just some professor.
Nope.
She's a lot more than that. She's not just part Cardassian. She's also part Trill, and not just any Trill.
Dax.
She's a Dax. Yeah. So
Dax is still alive.
Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
you go ahead.
No, okay, you go.
Okay. My question is more because I've seen a lot of people really excited about it, and I've also seen a lot of people really bothered by it. And I'm personally in the camp of being very excited about it. But it also, just the devil's advocate in me always feels like it's a good conversation to have, to ask, like, does it feel like fan service or does it feel earned? I personally think it feels earned, because the episode was a touching tribute, and who better to have known about Benjamin and have that personal insight than somebody from his past. And also for it to be played by somebody who has already established themselves in Star Trek as being a component for good. She's an excellent writer. She's played Mariner. She's very much what Star Trek needs to be going forward. And I think Tawny Newsome is a perfect choice to be carrying that torch, if you will. So I don't think it's fan service, but a lot of people have been saying that, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Dax, because a lot of people are also saying, "Oh, Dax shouldn't even be alive. Trill symbiotes don't live that long." Blah, blah.
I saw people say that. First of all, it's 800 years in the future, so I feel like, again, like they still live for centuries. I feel like if they live for centuries and it's that far in the future, you have no idea how medicine has advanced for trills or whatever. So I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility that, like, that's like saying this human is 100 years old, but the average human lifespan is 80. Well, okay, like that. All right, like
there's that, and somebody's always getting caught in a pattern buffer. There's somebody always caught up. You can always,
that's true,
come up with some reason why, like, they're still alive.
So that doesn't bother me that much. I think it's both. Two things can be true. I think it can be both fan service and also like a really good way of doing fan service. And I think that's what this is. Like, let's be honest, like having the Doctor, having Reno, like having these legacy characters in this series is fan service. It's to pull in those viewers who probably otherwise wouldn't really be watching it. And I've seen people say that, like, well, I wasn't going to watch it, but I had to because Robert Picardo's in it or whatever. So definitely, this whole episode was definitely for Deep Space Nine fans, but I think it was done in a really fantastic way. I think it was done in a really beautiful way. I got emotional. I'm not a huge Deep Space Nine fan, not because I don't like it, just because I haven't finished it. It's not something I was like emotionally connected to growing up or anything like that, so I don't have that same kind of relationship with it. But even I was like, it hit, this episode even hit me. Like, it's very like, they did a really, really good job. It was just very, very well done. So I think, yes, it's fan service. Also, it was done in a really incredible way, in a very emotional, very careful way. And I love that we still have Dax, that Dax stuck around.
Totally. I agree.
And is a professor now.
I think it is the right way to do fan service, without it being like a pandering thing. Yeah. Vactor, what do you think? I mean, you don't have a ton of experience, but you have seen, as you said, 25% of the show. So you certainly have had your experience with Dax.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with you. It fits the theme of the episode, the narrative of the Siskos, this being kind of like a love letter to Deep Space Nine. I think that appearance and that cameo fits. So I didn't have any problem with it.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's cool. It shows, honestly, it's also really cool to see a Trill Cardassian combo. That's kind of a wild hybrid to have. So I thought that was cool.
Said that she was a Cardassian and she was just an alien with prosthetics. I didn't even consider that's what that was, but I guess in retrospect, yeah.
I mean, that was more of a guess. Really she kind of like the way the forehead thing was happening and the stuff on the side.
Is Isla Dax a criminal, a cardiologist? Those were such interesting searches.
Is she a
Cardassian Trill hybrid? Hybrid.
I think I'm really going to have a great time at Starfleet Academy.
I did need to, since we were talking about the blobfish, this is my brand new Figment Squishmallow from
That's
the Figment
cute.
ride. Went last week, had a margarita, ride was empty, rode it by myself with my friend, screamed imagination at the top of our lungs, but he looks like a blobfish.
He does. He does look like a blobfish.
Hideous, and I love him. So, anyways, I would know it was Figment if it didn't kindly remind us.
You're right.
In a very subtle way.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's got his little horns.
I love that.
The wings.
They're cute.
So cute. Yeah. Isle Dax Cardassian Trill hybrid. That's really cool. That was a really nice way to round out Dax's story, I think.
We get to see Sam playing the theremin.
Loved that. That was such, again, cute fan service thing. Yeah.
So where have we seen that before?
Theremin was not, it's what they played the original series theme song on.
Yes. And that is like a huge sci-fi trope that just there's a lot of good podcasts and information about the theremin.
That's crazy. Okay.
Highly
that's
recommend.
Cool. Wow. I love that. Okay. At the end of the episode, we get this great voiceover from none other than Avery Brooks. A lot of people were wondering, hey, was he actually contacted? Did he go into the booth and record this for this episode? No, technically he did not. It was from a spoken word, a poetry album that he put out.
It's actually jazz and it's hip, Shoff. It's swinging.
Yeah, he's quite the musician. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah, in the Captain's documentary, he was talking about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In Shatner's doc.
There it is.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, his voice is amazing.
And honestly, it was a perfectly chosen piece because it fits so well with the episode.
It really did.
It was such a great way
I thought he had recorded it for the show.
Like you would think that it was made for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised at all.
Then there's the final moment where Sam is talking directly to Benjamin and sort of thanking him and saying she's going to be the emissary that, she's going to be, and she's going to do her thing, and she's going to do it on, her way. And just as he did it his way. And then there's this view of the sky, this beautiful San Franciscan sunset. And I didn't see this on first watch, but I did see it later, that Avery Brooks's face is in the sky amongst the clouds. And
okay, in this photo, it looks like a little bit of a stretch, but there are other photos where it looks a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Like this one looks like you might be entering psychosis a little bit if someone picks up on this, but there are a couple of photos where it is like it's very clearly his face. So
yeah, which I thought was just a really nice nod.
That's
so cool.
Why am I in the corner here?
So anyways, that's all I've got for you, other than I had a great time watching this episode. I don't understand why people are still hating on this show. It is so fun.
Because they're assholes.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's one thing, because here's the thing. I'm not saying that for everyone who just doesn't like it, because you can't force yourself to like something you just don't like. It's okay. Not every Star Trek is going to be everybody's favorite. Not every show is going to be everyone's favorite. That's fine. I'm not upset if you don't like Starfleet Academy. but it's what you don't like about it and the way that you communicate you don't like it. There are Star Trek shows that I like more than others. You will never, ever, ever in a million years see me underneath someone else's post if they're excited about a Star Trek show being like, this is trash, this is woke garbage, this is awful, I hope they cancel it. Like, that's just so rude. Like, it's just so mean and just does not make you a good person. And it's just a really, really awful Trekkie as well. Like, did you watch Star Trek? Do you even know, like, this is not becoming of a Trekkie. So yeah. So if you just don't like it because it's not your thing, you're not really here for the college show, it's just not really your vibe, you prefer kind of the more traditional Trek, watch traditional Trek. It's okay.
You've got a Paramount Plus
forcing you to watch it. Yeah,
a subscription.
No, I did. I do have a Paramount Plus subscription. I actually I paid Paramount Plus extra to just put it right in my glasses so I can just hang out in class.
I would pay extra for that.
I would. Paramount Plus. Hey, collab idea. Just right here. Just
that's great.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like art imitating life that Sam is played by is it Carice? Is that how you pronounce her first name? Carice? And her last name is Brooks. Which is just how perfect is that? Are you kidding me? That's so cool. She did a great job. She really did. Her personality is infectious. When she first showed up on the first episode, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure how I feel about this character, but that quickly disappeared and I was nothing but like invested. And this episode very much so, I was like, wow, she's awesome. It takes a really special actor or actress to be able to command a point of view type episode where you're looking into breaking the fourth wall and looking into the camera and it not being, corny or hokey or inauthentic. Like, she was excellent. It was so great. So I was very happy with it.
It was really great. It was amazing.
Very excited to see whatever happens tomorrow at 10 p.m. I will be watching episode 6 because that's when it drops on Paramount.
I'm not going to watch until Friday, so I'm probably just not going to be on social media because I'll cry if I see spoilers.
Yeah.
Also, I'm filming an exciting collab this weekend with two pretty cool Trekkie creators. Ooh. So I'm going to get back in my Janeway cosplay.
Yay! Ooh, fun. Woo. Exciting. Can't wait to see that.
Me too.
Before we go, anything other than Linda's cool collab coming up that we want to promote or plug? Vactor, you got anything coming up? Or what you're doing on your channel?
I am going to be doing a collaboration with my friend Ralph over at Lanterns Live, who does a great Green Lantern podcast. We're going to be talking about Green Lantern Corps, issue number 13. That's coming up this week as you are watching and listening. So check out both his channel, Lanterns Live, and mine, This Comic Cooks, where we will be talking Green Lantern Corps, issue 13.
Nice. I will also be collabing. I guess I'll just drop it right here. Tomorrow, I will be collabing with a glass of whiskey while I watch Starfleet Academy because I have no local friends. No, I'm just kidding.
It's okay. In August, we're gonna have a whole lot of Trekkie friends in person.
That's true. Yeah, Star Trek Las Vegas. We will be there, so hopefully you'll be there too.
Anyone has cosplay suggestions? Let me know now because I'm gonna start with them.
Help me out. I don't know what to do. I don't want to shave this beard off though. I'm saying that right now. I'm not shaving the beard off.
You don't have to shave it off or anything. Cosplay is it's doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but if I want to cosplay as Janeway, like I don't think Kate Mulgrew is going to be too thrilled with.
You can cosplay gender bend. I was in line to meet her, and there was a guy in front of me who was cosplaying as Janeway.
Okay,
you can cosplay.
All right.
If you want. You just need the Voyager uniform with the 4 pips.
I'm already hairy and have white hair. Maybe I'll cosplay as a Mugato.
Yay!
That would actually be really fun. If you do that, tell me, and I'll cosplay Moopsie the same day.
Perfect. Be nice and toasty warm in Vegas in August wearing a furry onesie.
Well, yeah, that's what was the only thing I could think about to cosplay Moopsie was I might just get a onesie and a polar bear onesie and like put the face on it and the paws and the tail.
All right, folks. Well, with that, we hope you enjoyed our episode. We'll be back next week with more Starfleet Academy content. And please check us out on Treknopod, on our TikTok channel, and lindapaiges and This Comic Cooks. And we will continue to inspire the masses with our love of Star Trek. Until then,
For the emissaries!
For the emissary.